Hello and welcome back to the Wildcast, our very own podcast here at Estero High School. And Mr. Cobb, they haven't kicked us out yet. So you're back.
I'm back.
And are you refreshed, ready to roll again?
Refreshed and ready. It was a great experience this last time with all the people we had last time, and I'm excited for the people we have on tap today.
We're kind of doing our district leadership show today. So we are going to, who's our guest today?
So we have our superintendent of schools, Ms. Denise Carlin. So super excited.
Dr. Carlin.
Yeah.
She is an amazing speaker. Let me tell you, we just had the Fierce conference where we brought 125 of our leaders from our school, women, female leaders, and Dr. Carlin came out and spoke with them, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about that, but she is so inspiring. So
awesome. We're
really looking forward to having her on. Who else are we having on?
We have our assistant superintendent of CTE, which is Ed Mathews. He's going to be on and talking about some of the CTE initiatives that have been brought into the district. CTE, Career Technical Education. It's a big component now in our world. When you look at the phases of things in the world, in education and just in general, you kind of look at the fact that it was workforce education for a long time. High schools were workforce, and then there was this shift made to where everyone was going to college. They were trying to push everyone to college, and now we're seeing this shift back a little bit, not back because it's actually moving forward, because not everyone is made to go to college, and we're seeing a lot of kids come out of college with a degree and debt, and then they're not really doing what they're passionate about. And so the shift to CTE and kids getting out of school, getting a certification, and getting their career started much faster and not in debt, and they can start at a good paying job, and they can have a career, and they can do something they're passionate about is awesome.
Yep, and we're going to be talking also with Ron and Lucinda Defreitas, who are sponsoring this show. Thank you to
so
them.
Much.
They are just a power couple, and they do so much for teachers and administrators of building our wealth in a way. And awesome. They are with Gulf Coast Educators, and they do insurance, and they do investments. And you're going to hear all about that. So it is going to be an action-packed show. It's going to be very interesting for our listener out there. So we are really asking you to stay with us. You'll see the vision of our superintendent, the vision of Ed Mathews, and what they have planned for our awesome and incredible district, which trickles down to Estero High School and all the great things that we have at our school.
Yeah,
and
super excited.
And we'll talk about our CTE programs later in the show. And we are just excited you are along with us. So stay tuned, and we will be back with our superintendent, Dr. Denise Carlin.
At GC Insurance and Wealth Management, your future doesn't start with a product. It starts with the right advice. Too often, financial advice turns into a pitch, but the right partner provides clarity, not pressure. We focus on guidance you can trust by taking an educational approach to insurance, retirement, and business planning. As independent advisors and fiduciaries, we don't just sell policies, we build blueprints. Since 2009, we've proudly served educators, families, and business owners. We see the hard work that makes this town thrive. By combining tailored insurance with strategic financial services, we ensure your wealth, business, and family are ready for whatever life brings. Let's talk about your goals and create your blueprint today. Schedule your complimentary consultation at gceiwm.com or call 239-591-2724. GCE, independent advice for life's financial decisions.
Hello and welcome back to the Wildcast and our podcast. And look who we have here.
I mean, we got my
have
boss here.
a very we better mind our manners right now.
we got my boss here.
I'm
nervous.
This could go good or this could go bad, but we are so excited to have Dr. Carlin here. She is an amazing leader, and I'm not just saying that, Mr. Cobb. I am a fan from afar. I watch how you handle things when you just dealing with different things so far as in your leadership, but I've known you a long time.
Yes, yeah.
I've seen you interact when you had your son in tennis, and I know you on a personal level, but I just want to say thank you for giving our gift of time, your gift of time today, to be on our podcast. It means a lot to us at Estero High School. So
Well, thank you very much, and such a pleasure to be on here with both of you, and just really appreciate your leadership and what you're doing, with the entrepreneurs and our students and all of that. And just this is really an awesome experience. So thanks for having me on.
And there's Mr. Cobb over there, and he's an aspiring principal, I think, but he's
Yes, he
one
is.
and we bring in our assistant principals to be a co-host with us on every show. So welcome to this little thing we got going on, and I hope you enjoy your time with us today. And Mr. Cobb's going to take the first question, and we'll see where it goes.
Sounds
All right.
great.
Well, my wife and I are both educators, so this first question is kind of near and dear to our hearts. So when parents drop their students off at school, what kinds of things are you doing to make sure that those kids are safe on campuses?
Boy, it's the most important priority we have, Mr. Cobb. It's very important to us. I'm a parent myself, and we had 2 boys that went through the school district of Lee County, and I counted on our schools for keeping them safe. And so not only as a parent, but also as the superintendent of schools. So we have so many things that we're doing on the safety level. We start with physical safety, first of all. We have open gate systems, which are our weapons detection systems, and that's really, really important because we do not want a weapon to make its way onto our campus. We have the Strategics button that that all of our staff have. So if there's any type of alert that needs to go out, whether a child's having a medical emergency or, God forbid, we need to go on lockdown, our staff members have the individual ability to push that button and to lock things down and to make sure that our students are safe. And then we talk about the mental health of our students. Working in a high school, I saw it in elementary, middle schools where I worked, that mental health was a big concern for some of our students. And so we want to make sure we have licensed mental health counselors and others there, and our teachers, to jump in and support, give that extra hug and the words of encouragement. But when it goes beyond that, we have our counselors and our licensed mental health folks that are there. So it's all very important. It's not just physical safety, but also when kids have, those trouble times, that they have somebody to turn to.
When you look at student achievement in Lee County, what's the honest picture you see right now?
So again, it's one of the reasons I ran, quite frankly, Kevin, is I felt like we could do better as a school district. We're a good school district, and we are. You and I go way back. We have wonderful teachers. Our students, our families, our support staff, our leaders are amazing. But there's been systems challenges. And so one of my strengths as a leader is really to look at our systems and to see what are we doing to provide support. Our student achievement right now levels are really not where we have the ability to be. And what I mean by that is we are number 9 out of the 10 largest school districts in Florida in terms of our student achievement. There's only one larger district that's lower than us. So we have nowhere to go but up. One of the things that I saw immediately, and this is not a teacher issue, this is not a principal issue, this is an us issue. When I was sworn in, we had over 200 teacher vacancies. How in the world are children supposed to learn if they don't have a teacher? And then the other thing, Kevin, is we had over 8,000 children when I was sworn in coming to school late. And you know what happens when a child misses first period. In elementary, a lot of times that's reading. Many times that's math. And so when children miss instructional time, how can they possibly learn? So those are 2 things we've fixed. We are now down to about 20 teacher vacancies. This time last year, we were about 190. And now we have 98% of our buses getting to school on time, as opposed to in the low 80s last year. So a lot more kids getting to school on time and being availed to instructional time. That's important.
Yeah, I can tell you from the school's perspective. I've been in the schools. Both of those things are true. So I'm fairly new to Florida. This is my 6th year here in Florida. A lot of districts talk about fiscal responsibility, but what have you done since you've taken over to really address and look at what fiscal responsibility actually looks like here in Lee County?
In the school district, we talk about fiscal responsibility being a mindset. So I grew up as one of 7 children. We didn't have everything we wanted, but we sure had what we needed. We need to also do that at the central office and really throughout all of our schools. So one of the things I did probably the first couple of months is we made a 5% cut at the central office, which yielded just shy of $16 million. I also reorganized our district office to the tune of about $1 million. Couple that $17 million with what Dr. Savage did right before I came in as interim superintendent. We had $20 million we could put in the pot right away. And what we did primarily was we worked on adjusting teacher salaries. We had a larger pot of money. So when our schools when our district leaders come together with our teachers union, they have the opportunity to decide how much compensation is going to be. I set a pretty high bar. I said our beginning teachers were making $50,500. I wanted that to be a lot higher. I also wanted our teachers to have a higher rate of compensation. We were able last year to give a $4,000 raise for the beginning teachers, so from $50,500 to $54,500. Across the rest of it, we were able to give, through the continuum of teachers, we were able to give up to 7%. My colleagues around the state gave 0.05%, 1%, and 2%. So we exceeded that, and I expect that we will do that again. That doesn't happen if we are not fiscally responsible and having that extra $20 million to put into the pot. If I had not done that, we would have been consistent with the other districts, a 0.05%, maybe a 1% raise at best. We have to catch up teacher salaries. We are behind in this 5-county area. As superintendent, that is unacceptable to me. We will not hold on to our teachers. They will go to Collier, they'll go to Charlotte, they'll even go to Glades. We don't want to lose our best teachers. We want to keep them, and in order to do that, we have to pay them.
Yeah. You know, one of the neatest things about you, you're always willing to give your gift of time to different projects. I mean, you were on the Elite Eight last year, and then yesterday we had you at our Fierce show. What was your impressions? I'm going to talk after you answer this too. I was really blown away on one of your answers, and if you don't mind sharing that story, I love for the people of Estero to, hear that about your biggest influence in your leadership. But did you enjoy the event? Do you like these events when we put the? Can you just share?
Absolutely. Well, walking in and seeing all those young ladies there, they're sitting there, they're leaders already, but to get to talk with some of your students, it was absolutely amazing. I guess I look at myself as superintendent, and I just am very humbled to be in this role. So to get up and to be able to talk with your students, I mean, they are so energized. They came up to me after we spoke. All of us, we had a variety of women there that were speaking, and they were so grateful. They were still picking our brains at the back of the room. But just to get up in front of a group of girls and to be able to share, my life experience and what had occurred very early on in my career and education was just fantastic. And they were so receptive.
The reason I did that was I always think of my daughter. I don't know if you ever reflect on your son, but I always think, what if I could have done this what would I do if she was in school that would be inspiring to her? And I just think getting these amazing women together in a room with the girls that are coming up and into leadership is just so important.
Absolutely.
And then you were sharing, one of our rapid fire questions would be one of the biggest influences in your leadership. And then do you mind telling that story again about Bobby?
I didn't get to hear it. I wasn't there. So I want to hear the story.
But so I asked her, and she's going to fire away here in a second, but I asked her in everyone's life, Mr. Cobb, I believe, even if I was to ask you, who shaped you as a leader? And that's
please
because I know
because I don't want to start crying in front of my boss and in front of this podcast.
Every time I see the superintendent, I'm always amazed at her confidence, and that she could be in a room and I try to tell this to my daughter: do not let money ever influence you or title.
Right.
That you hold your own in any room you walk in, and you're just as important as that person with the title.
That's right.
But I'm always amazed that no matter when she has spoken, she has tremendous just presence, and I believe Dr. Carlin knows who she is and knows how to lead. And I always want to know, where does that come from? So go ahead. I'll let you take over.
Yeah. So, really a very early influence in my leadership life was Bobby D'Alessandro. She was the superintendent in the early 90s. And the way she ascended to the superintendency was we had a superintendent who was actually shot and killed in office. And actually right outside of his office, there was a gentleman who'd shown up, went to shake his hand, and shot him 5 times in cold blood. And Dr. Adams was killed. And so Bobby D'Alessandro was the number 2 in the number 2 position. She ascended that evening to the superintendency, but she had been assigned to me as a mentor as part of an early leadership program I was part of when I was getting my master's. And I remember I was supposed to go see her that next day to go shadow her. And I remember,
day changed.
and I remember she had called me and said, I'm going to be sworn in as superintendent. And because of the shock of the day, I had forgotten that I was going to go shadow her. So I called her right back and I said, I can't come see you tomorrow. She said, guess what? You're still coming.
Oh,
I
wow.
insist. So I spent the first day with her as superintendent, which talk about foreshadowing, right? To be able to see, right?
What a circle moment. That's how life is, I really believe. You were meant to be in that room because one day you were going to lead.
Yeah. And who knew
Isn't
at the
that
time,
amazing?
right?
Yeah.
Who knew at the time?
Those are the stories of life that just, I like listening to it yesterday. It just all made sense to me, that full circle moment. What does parent engagement look like in Lee County? Because as you know, this podcast is going out to our parents, and our principal, Ms. Seelick, is very big on this and involving our business community and involving our parents with her school. She always has an open door policy, but what does it look like to you?
Absolutely.
And then from your leadership
So
perspective.
it's so important, as you know, Kevin. I mean, having you and I are both educators, we're all educators. And so we know that we can't do it without the parents' help. If we are just the teacher and the school and the child, but there's that third leg of the stool that isn't present, the parent, we're sunk. It is very difficult to get anything to happen. So when I talk about parent engagement, yes, it's great when they come out to our STEM nights or to our special occasions at the school, and we want them to participate on school advisory council and be part of the boosters and the parent-teacher organizations and all of that. Most importantly, what I think about parent engagement, I think about we get them for like 6 or 6.5 hours a day. How about when they come home? What happens, right? Is the TV blaring? Like, turn it off. Like, have them put their cell phones up. Make a focus on like a learning environment at home. Get the homework done. Make sure your child has a quiet place to do their homework. Like I said, cell phones off or at least on the kitchen counter. Like, provide those opportunities for the learning to extend into the home, and also encourage them to read at least 30 minutes a day. And we don't care if they read on their phones, that's fine, as long as they're not, reading something that's good, right? Or on their tablets, or even in an old-fashioned book, that's fine. But just encourage that in your students at home.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really important. I think reading, obviously, we've been doing some podcast episodes and stuff like that, and Mr. Schell's kind of talked about some of the books he's read. I've talked about some of the books that I've read and some of the things that have inspired us and stuff like that. And you really do. You learn a lot through reading, so it's an essential skill. And I don't know how you drive that home any more than just saying we need to continuously, put an emphasis not only at the school level, and we are doing that.
That's right.
But put an emphasis at home.
Absolutely.
Of stopping, and if we could just stop our lives, and I know it's hard. It's hard because we're all so busy. Everybody's so busy. Everybody's so busy, but it is that important that our kids are able to read, and we need to make sure that we're doing that. So I'm with you on that.
Absolutely.
I tell my kids all the time, one book a month, and pick an area that, and if you don't like to read, because I had a lot of, growing up, I had ADD heavily, and it would be a focus problem for me. I said, get an audiobook.
That's right.
If reading's not, but listen, because I really believe that will transform your mind.
That's right.
Into whatever area you're passionate about.
Yes.
And so I introduce a book every month, and I don't know if you ever catch me but I try to give excerpts out of this in my little teaching things that I put up there for the kids. But I believe I am a proponent of reading and transforming and learning new things. And But I guess it's easy for us as teachers because
Yes.
that's our mantra.
Right. Absolutely.
It's harder to instill that into a kid who wants to just look at somebody else's life on social
Absolutely.
media. But you've talked about wanting Lee County to be number one. What's standing or what's standing between where you are now and where you want to go?
Yeah, we are very capable of being an A school district. We are currently a B. What it's going to take is basically the two greatest variables that I spoke about before: a high-quality teacher in every single classroom. Again, when I was sworn in, over 200 teacher vacancies. This time last year, about 190. We're down to about 20 now. And what we've asked is in those 20 vacancies to make sure that we've got a certified teacher in that classroom. So a reading coach, a math coach, a curriculum specialist, somebody that's going to have a teacher certificate after their name. The other part is time. We need more time. Think of the hardest thing you ever learned in your entire life. Mine was Statistics 3. It almost kept me from getting my doctorate. I had a great teacher up at USF. But I was not putting the time in. I was an assistant principal at the time, and you know how much time that requires, right? I didn't have a lot of spare time, but I found on Sundays I had to just dedicate the entire day to that class. I just had to. I had no time, but I had to do that, and I was able to eke out an A- in that class. But
My
more
tough one
time.
was accounting too.
Oh,
Well,
tough. Accounting
Accounting.
period is tough. Right. So if we have teachers in every classroom and we have time for children to learn what needs to happen, and then here's the third part: benchmark aligned instruction. We need to make sure that we're teaching, I call it soccer for the soccer game. We don't want to teach soccer for tennis. There are some transferable skills, but we've got to make sure we're teaching the Florida benchmarks. And if we do those things, we have a fully staffed faculty. We have enough time for children and more time for those that struggle, and also making sure that we're teaching the Florida benchmarks. It's a combination for an A school district.
What's been the favorite thing that you've liked about being the ultimate leader, being the superintendent? What's your favorite thing so far?
The children. No, bar none. Visiting classrooms, getting to see our children learning, getting to see our teachers teach. There is nothing better.
Do people, like, let's say you've been friends with them a while, do they act different around you? Do they, you get that? Because you're the same
I'm Denise.
Dr. Carr, you're
Right, I'm
Denise,
Denise.
right.
I'm Denise.
But
right.
do they act different? Do you find that now that you have this title? Or
You know, the people have known me forever. Like you and I saw you as like big hug. You know, hey Kevin, hey Denise, right? We're we go way back. I think where it's difficult is when you do have to have maybe a more challenging conversation and step out of that role of Denise, but like supervisor. I think that can be difficult. But we have such great team members. I rarely have to do that, but if I do, it's hard.
yeah, and do you? You're kind of not getting to the, I don't want to say you're getting to the end. Well, I'm getting to the end. I only got a couple more years, but your biggest goal, I know, is to bring us to an A district and to bring this where you see us moving to. But are you going to, let's say it takes you 5 years, 10 years, are you going to be doing this for a while? Do you see yourself? Or is it being a leader takes a lot out of you? Because you know what I see? You guys are everywhere. It's like because a lot of us start to wheel down,
right?
And it seems like you're ramping up. Where do you get this energy? Because I go to sleep by 9 now.
Well, coffee works.
But
I think.
But do you see yourself? You want to do this for a while more?
I really enjoy the job. I do. It has been a wonderful opportunity to get in there and to make some meaningful change that I think needs to happen. And here's what I'll share with you. There are so many people that have the comfort level to pick up the phone and call me when they're having a challenge, whether it's in the community, whether it's a staff member. And you know what feels good is when you can remove a barrier. When you have the ability as superintendent to say, it doesn't have to be that way. Let's change it. And we get to do it. That was never present when I worked for the district prior to.
Right.
Yeah, I've never been in that role.
That's what's kind of neat. You get to change and affect the things that you saw that you didn't like, now you're the top dog, so you can kind of do it.
Right.
So that's so awesome. I'm so happy for you, and you're doing a great job. Keep it up, and thank you for being on the Wildcast. Our last thing, we do this thing called rapid fire.
Okay.
So we're asking for 1 or 2 word answers, and then he'll have a few and I'll have a few.
Okay, let's go.
So
let's
you ready?
do it.
All right.
All right.
Favorite restaurant?
Oh, the veranda.
Starbucks order.
Oh, let's see. A latte with cinnamon powder.
All right. Gas station food. What's your gas station go to?
Oh my gosh, Nutter Butters.
Oh, I like that.
Your favorite movie?
Oh gosh, Steel Magnolias.
Oh,
My wife likes that too. Favorite book?
The Firm by John Grisham.
I think I watched that movie.
See, you would have made a good
Scary.
lawyer. You never thought about
I
being a lawyer?
thought about it. I went to school to be
Your
a paralegal.
husband's a judge, isn't he?
He is. He's a lawyer
You
who
ever
became a
talk that
judge.
kind of stuff?
We do.
Oh,
I was a
bet that's interesting.
paralegal before I went back to school to become a teacher.
Dr.
really?
Carlin, do you know where I'm from originally?
Are you from Ohio?
No.
Where?
I'm from Arkansas, but I'm
He
only
tells everybody. by the way.
Oh, Grisham.
I'm only
Oh.
I'm only 45 minutes from Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh,
Have you ever
We'll
met?
talk.
Is he still
We will
alive?
talk.
You want to meet him then?
I want to
We got to make this
totally meet
happen.
him.
If anybody knows
Yes.
John Grisham, call
the
Estero High
podcast.
School. We need some
the
brownie
Pelican Brief.
points.
I could go on and on. I love all of
No,
his
I
books.
guarantee you, someone out there knows John Grisham. So
Oh, yeah.
we're going to get you to beat him if that's the
I
last
love
thing
it. I'd love
we
to do that.
All right. So and who is the biggest influence in your life other than Bobby? But is there anyone else has been a big influence in your life? You can even send them a shout out if they're still alive.
Yeah, my dad was a huge influence in our lives. I'm one of 7 children. We had 6 girls and a boy, and he taught us as girls to be fiercely independent. So I give him full credit for this.
And with that, we thank you for being on the podcast. We call it the Wildcast. And you are official member now. And thank you for always supporting Estero High School. On behalf of our principal, Ms. Seelick, I know she really appreciates your leadership and loves everything you're about and you do down there. And thank you for being on today. And we wish you all the best. Anything we can do to help you, please ask us. And with that, we thank you for tuning in today. And please please like, and what is it called there?
Like and share.
Yeah,
Get a
like and share.
Like and share. I'm
there-
going to do that
there-
too.
there you go. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hit the bell.
And
Right
again,
there.
thank you, Dr. Carlin, for being
thank
on,
you.
and have a wonderful day. And we'll be right back after these messages.
At GC Insurance and Wealth Management, your future doesn't start with a product. It starts with the right advice. Too often, financial advice turns into a pitch, but the right partner provides clarity, not pressure. We focus on guidance you can trust by taking an educational approach to insurance, retirement, and business planning. As independent advisors and fiduciaries, we don't just sell policies, we build blueprints. Since 2009, we've proudly served educators, families, and business owners. We see the hard work that makes this town thrive. By combining tailored insurance with strategic financial services, we ensure your wealth, business, and family are ready for whatever life brings. Let's talk about your goals and create your blueprint today. Schedule your complimentary consultation at gceiwm.com or call 239-591-2724. GCE, independent advice for life's financial decisions.
Hello and welcome back to the Wildcast. And look who we have here, Mr. Cobb. We are sitting among one of our biggest leaders for the school district, the one and only Ed Mathews. Ed Mathews, thank you for being on the podcast today.
Well, thank you.
And-
Thank you, DJ Kevin Schell.
Yeah, and what I wanted to do is, like, I know I don't want to get your title wrong because I know you have a really nice title with the district. Can you tell everybody your title and tell them a little bit about what you do, and then we'll go into some other questions.
So, Associate Superintendent, Career Technical Education, and Administration. And the administration part covers all after-school activities, charter schools, enrollment, and anything else deemed necessary by the superintendent.
And full disclosure, Mr. Cobb, Mr. Mathews and I go way back. We've been together at a few schools, and I want to just tell you his leadership is amazing. So, and
Oh,
I've
I'm very
been
honored. Thank you.
blessed to be under his leadership, and I hope we're going to get to really understand his vision for his role for the school district, and I'm really looking forward to it. So I'm going to let you fire away his first question.
All right. Well, I've gotten to meet Mr. Mathews a little bit, and he actually works along with somebody that used to be at Estero as well. So Mr. Clayton Simmons is in his office, and the two of them work well together. So the first question I have for you is, how did you end up in CTE, and what drew you to this kind of work?
I believe it's one of those things where it's not really that I went to it. It's just naturally just who I am. You know, I come from a family that from Northeast Ohio, as well as Western Virginia, not West Virginia, but West Virginia. I mean, Western Virginia. And we have a lot of skilled trades people in my family, so I'm very accustomed to it. Steel workers, auto mechanics, electricians, nurses, and educators. So with all of that in my background, it just sort of flowed nicely into my pathway when I started out as a teacher in 02, 03, into administration as assistant principal, then principal, and everywhere along the way. So I always try, you always go to your foundation of who you are and how you were brought up. And I've been able to bring that out in with my work.
When you talk to kids about CTE programs that are existing out there, and what are they telling you about the programs they're in, and what are you hearing from kids these days?
Well, first off, kids know what they know, and on the vice versa, they don't know what they don't know. So I think, number one, we have to introduce them to as many different types of programs possible, because a lot of times a student may say, I may not like this, but then they don't really have an answer as to what they really like. I think that's why we're seeing a lot of students nowadays. Everybody wants to be a TikTok influencer or, Instagram something. And the reason why that is because in their hand and they're exposed to it. So one of our goals as a district is to expose our students to as many different career pathways as possible, because one day you might feel like you want to get in the medical field, and you try a welding class or an automotive class, and you find, no, that's really my passion, and that's what I really want to get involved in.
Mm-hmm. One of the big things that I love about you, we kind of shared this conversation early in the year about, is kids and grit. And that's why I wore the hat today in honor of you, that grit means a lot to me as a teacher. Mm-hmm. And I know it means a lot to you as an administrator. From your perspective, can you speak to why do we need to instill that in them? And why, when you see that lacking, what can we do from your side to instill that better to kids?
Well, number one, I believe that grit in a lot of ways is our modern terminology to what we feel is missing with this generation as opposed to past generations. I think if you look down through the history, everybody thinks that the newest generation has it a little bit easier. They're a little bit, not as weathered, mm-hmm. I would say, to that next position in life. And so what are we doing? I believe number one is we have high expectations. And with those high expectations, we constantly challenge our students to meet those expectations on a daily basis to get themselves ready for the career workforce.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
The business world, the CTE world, mm-hmm. they kind of overlap. So what is the district doing with local businesses to help mend that gap that exists there, and what does the day-to-day to that look like?
Well, I believe now more than ever, we're seeing a focus between the business community and the school district to meet the workforce demands. The only way that business in our area is going to be successful is it has to have a strong relationship with our school district. And so we realize that. We are here to meet the needs of our community. And so one of the needs of our community is to make sure that all of our students not only graduate and have a positive outcome on that day, but also are ready for that next positive outcome, whether they go into a post-secondary institution or go right into the workforce. And, we want them to have those soft skills. We want them to have the grit. We want them to have the academic skills, the technical skills, all of those things that allow their businesses to be successful. So there's a constant relationship back and forth between the business community and the school district where, we have set dates on calendars where we meet, daily phone calls, daily emails, what's going well, where's areas for improvement. So it's an ongoing process.
Well, I think there's something really interesting about that you brought up. extracurricular activities used to always be something that a lot of successful people, would go back and say that they were probably successful because of some of the extracurriculars and stuff that they did. Can you speak to how CTE is doing that for students who are not necessarily involved in any extracurriculars? It's an opportunity for them. Can you speak to that?
And that is a great point that you brought up there. We have so many of our students who may not be in the band, may not be in athletics, may not want to do ROTC, but they have a passion for entrepreneurship. They have a passion for being technical, working on something hands-on. And, career technical education allows those students to connect to a purpose. And with that purpose, it allows them to have passion.
I see it up in student affairs. So, and I see that connection every single day. So I really appreciate that.
So being that me and you go way back as far as like you hired me at South and I saw, this is one of the few times too, Mr. Cobb, that this is a guy who preaches CTE and lived it. I saw it firsthand how he believes in this in his school. But reflecting back on that, either to your South days or whenever in your career path, what is like one story or a moment that you knew when you brought these programs, let's say, to that school? When is it when you were really not happy with yourself, but you were really proud of not only that program or a student that did something? Can you reflect on something like that?
I'll take you from a higher altitude down to surface level here a little bit. So one of the programs that we brought in initially that nobody else was doing at that time is we brought in welding. And I can remember, the first year is always a struggle anytime you get something off. But even that second semester, I saw kids really gravitating, wanting to go to the welding lab. And students who I know in the past, based off of just the way they did things, probably wouldn't have been that successful. But because of welding, they kept themselves in check and they really wanted to be there. And I can remember we had some public speakers come into the auditorium. And these particular students, all different backgrounds, socioeconomic groups, genders, you name it, all different. They treated these individuals who are guest speakers like celebrities, And I remember really looking back and I was like, wow, this is where we're really meeting all students as opposed to a select group. And in some ways, a lot of those select groups, we sort of, push them in that direction. This is really more where we were meeting the kids where they wanted to be. And so with that, that program built and built and built. And then one particular student, Isaiah Vargas, that we had, really wasn't achieving ultimate success in school, I would say. And, was one of those ones where he attended but wasn't really excited about it. And he got into welding and really found a purpose and a passion. Not only did he graduate, but then he, received employment, did very well for himself, and has really taken the next step and has opened his own business. And I believe at this time has hired 15 of his classmates that were in his welding classes to work for his business that goes all around the country. And they weld together steel for steel buildings, and he does extremely well for himself.
Wow, what a story. I
mean,
when you look at our Estero corridor, is there anything you see or anything that you can reflect upon for the workforce, or anything that would be a mantra of yours from being a teacher that you think that we should go after? Or is anything that you really want to bring to light about that Estero corridor and Estero High School?
Well, I believe that number one, I think what we have to recognize, and I see that we're running a little bit late on time here, so I want to make sure that we understand this, is that 21% of the state of Florida is 65 and older. And in Lee County, it's 29%. And a lot of those individuals are, yes, retired and they're out of the workforce, but we also have a large number of those who are still working in their small business. They're still in the industry they've loved, they've had passion for their whole life. And we have to get kids excited and have purpose and passion to get into those career fields to keep our local economy going. So I don't think it's really just if you're looking at that corridor. I understand where you were coming from with that question, but I really think as an umbrella for everything, we really need to think that our kids really, really need to get excited about getting into the workforce and learning on the job, which you're finding more and more employers are paying for college. They're paying for on-the-job training. So a lot of what we saw, 10, especially 20 years ago, where you had to go to college, then, went through internships and then maybe a job, it's really accelerated. And so now it's reversed where you go right into the job. They train you into the culture of the company. And then if you need further education, they'll pay for the college. And if you need further mentoring, they'll come and mentor you while you're on the job.
We talked about that in the intro that we did earlier. You weren't even here for that, but we talked about it. So,
and then you might not know this, but you guys share something in common. Mr. Cobb over here was an Australian football player. And he went. That's a pretty good story, but he's not going to get into it because we want to hear. But do you know Mr. Mathews played a little college football for Mr. Snellenberger?
Yeah.
For Coach Snellenberger. But tell us a little bit. How did that prepare you for leadership? Did that prepare you in any way? Like being
absolutely. Well, you deal with diverse populations. When I played football at FAU, we had kids from all different backgrounds. Some of them not the best of backgrounds, and then some of them you wouldn't even believe, how wealthy or extravagant, their lives were. And seeing everything A through Z at FAU really opened my eyes to what's possible, and then realizing how much work it takes to really be successful, and understanding along the way that you have to really make connections with people, not only for your current success, but the success that'll occur later in life. So I look at every interaction as not only a positive interaction for particularly that moment, but I also look at it as a down payment for a future interaction that may occur later.
Well, so there you have it, Estero parents. But we have one more thing we're going to do with you. It's called Rapid Fire.
Okay.
We give you a couple questions, and you're just going to give us 1 or 2 word answers to get to know you a little bit better. And so parents, as you can see out there, we are districts in great hands, and we are so incredibly grateful that you stopped by and gave us some few minutes to give us the vision of our district. And go ahead. I'm going to let you take it away here.
Car or truck?
Truck.
Favorite place to eat?
I'm a breakfast guy, so I like First Watch.
Oh, I'm a breakfast guy too, but I'm more of a Waffle House kind of guy.
I do like Waffle House, though.
Waffle House is pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
Let's go with favorite movie.
Die Hard.
Favorite book?
Favorite book. There's so many. I really like, there's a Zig Ziglar, Reach You at the Top. I really like that one a lot.
I do too. This is we'll basically close with this, but biggest influence in your life.
Ooh.
And there's your chance to give a little shout out as well.
I've had so many. I can't really think of one individual other than my parents. I take a lot of stock in my mom and dad, and the foundations that they really created by allowing me to see new things, interact with different types of people, and watching them work and achieve success. So I'd say my mom and dad.
Awesome. You want to give any shout outs to anybody else other than your mom and dad? Anybody that plays a special part in your life, your day-to-day life?
Well, of course, tomorrow's Valentine's Day, so I have to give a shout out to my wife, Holly. Yeah. Even though I know that she will not like that, but I will recognize her.
All right, and with that, we thank you for being on our Wildcast podcast. It wasn't so bad, was it?
No, I wish we had a little more time. Yeah.
But anyways, thank you for being on. Thank you for what you've done for me in my life. Thank you for what you bring to the district, and keep it going. That's all I can say. Keep
appreciate
it going,
gentlemen.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
At GC Insurance and Wealth Management, your future doesn't start with a product. It starts with the right advice. Too often, financial advice turns into a pitch, but the right partner provides clarity, not pressure. We focus on guidance you can trust by taking an educational approach to insurance, retirement, and business planning. As independent advisors and fiduciaries, we don't just sell policies, we build blueprints. Since 2009, we've proudly served educators, families, and business owners. We see the hard work that makes this town thrive. By combining tailored insurance with strategic financial services, we ensure your wealth, business, and family are ready for whatever life brings. Let's talk about your goals and create your blueprint today. Schedule your complimentary consultation at gceiwm.com or call 239-591-2724. GCE, independent advice for life's financial decisions.
Hello and welcome back to the Wildcast, and here we sit with our business partners extraordinaire, and we are so blessed to have these two.
Thank you so much for sponsoring this and allowing us to get our message out to our parents.
Yes,
and stuff like
they
that.
put their money where they feel. I think that it's important. So first, why don't you guys first introduce yourselves and your company that you're representing today? So go ahead.
Yeah. So. Ron Defreitas with GCE Insurance and Wealth Management. Been Fort Myers native for 45 years. Went to Orange River, went to Alva, went to Riverdale. Don't hold Riverdale against me. But
I won't.
That's near and dear to my heart.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no. We opened our firm 20 years ago, and my background, I wanted to be a math teacher and also a baseball coach. So.
It's me.
You're a math teacher?
I was former secondary math teacher.
So you wanted to be a teacher?
I did.
I coached football and soccer.
Yeah, I have a math education degree, and wanted to teach baseball, and so I guest spoke at a high school in Tampa called Sickles High School. A good friend of mine was teaching economics,
Right.
and went back the next day and changed my major.
It wasn't for you.
It wasn't, and the reason why is just because I have to move around a lot. And so being isolated in the classroom would have been difficult for me. But I knew I wanted to educate. I just didn't know what that was going to lead me to. So I went and changed my major to finance, and here I am 20 years later helping teachers educate them.
Exactly. And we'll talk more about that in a second. And who did you bring with you today?
My lovely business partner and wife, Lucinda.
What's that? Go ahead, Lucinda. Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your path.
Yeah, Lucinda Defreitas, and I am blessed to be able to spend my work days with my spouse. My past is a little unique, and I know I shared that yesterday when we were in the Women's Leadership Conference. But, I actually went to school to be a nurse. So I started my education with going into nursing and quickly realized that the hours and the work-life balance was very difficult. And so I also changed my career path and went into financial services. Actually, Ron and I both met at Capital One together, and that's, an entry into our next phase, which was when I relocated to Fort Myers because I wasn't a native in Fort Myers, and we actually met through Capital One, through work.
And that's how I came to meet both of you guys years ago when I was a teacher just getting started with trying to put money away. And talk a little bit about that, what you guys do for us teachers of Lee County. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the biggest thing for us is, again, the educational approach. With teachers, they have a lot of different moving parts with retirement. It's not a matter of just accumulating money in a Roth IRA or a brokerage account. They have the full retirement system. They have their Social Security. So what we do is to try to help our teachers put all the pieces together for them. Teach them about their full retirement system because a lot of advisors have no clue about what happens in the full retirement system, and unfortunately can give them advice that may not pertain to some of our educators. So we're experts on it. We teach it. That's half, in many cases, my teacher's retirement. So we just got to make up the other half, and that's where we come in.
And I love that facet that you both have such a heart for teachers and police officers as well. So you do a lot in that area. And that's how I got to meet them, Mr. Cobb, when they came to the school. And they've always been to a lot of schools, like giving breakfasts and all different things. You guys have been almost at every school I've been part of, and I've seen you take part in that. So, and then Lucinda yesterday had the opportunity to speak to the girls of Estero
At your event.
At the event. Yeah. And thank you for being there, number one. And tell us what your impressions of it was. And if you were talking, we have a lot of parents out there. Parents, if you were giving advice to a mom and them giving their kids advice about money, go ahead and speak to that as well.
Yeah, well, the event yesterday was just incredible. The fact that you had so many powerful local business women there to provide them guidance and advice on their past and things that they should consider as they're starting their own journeys was just fascinating. So you did an incredible job. It was just a privilege to be there. And like I mentioned there, it's like my 16-year-old self would have never thought that I would have been sitting there talking to those young women. So my advice to parents, honestly, is to, when it comes to their kids and helping them start, is to have them start at least a savings account or something separate for them, some kind of account where their kids can start putting money away. So if they have a part-time job, or even if grandmother is giving them a couple dollars for their birthdays, take $20, $25, something, even if it's just once a month, and put it away for them, because then eventually that interest will compound for them and will give them a start.
And you talked the rule about compounding, and that's a big thing that I talk about in my class too, because we do have some money units. And Ron, you can speak to compounding, why that's so important for even the young teachers out there to start putting money away, instead of, like, a lot of times teachers or people in general will put away their money later in life. And then they got to put away more, correct, to get where they want to get to.
Yeah, the sooner the better, because it's easier to actually have that money working for you for a longer period of time. Time is our friend when it comes to investments. And Lucinda and I were laughing on the way here. In my workshops, many times I'll bring a $20 bill and I'll tell a teacher, I'm like, hey, anybody want to give me $1 and I'll give you this 20? And they're like, oh, he's giving away free money, right? And really the concept is just the compounding interest, right? Being able to invest $1 and turning it into $20. And so sometimes it's a little easier for people to understand that scenario than trying to walk them through the compounding interest side of things.
Right.
They don't like giving it back, though.
I try to teach them the rule of 72.
Yeah,
you can lose them
that's
a little
right.
bit,
That's right.
And what is it about what made you guys become entrepreneurs? Like what was the deciding factor, and what are the advantages of it, and what are some of the disadvantages that you faced?
Yeah, good question. So the advantages that I see as a business owner is I can control my destiny. And, one of the things that I see as any successful business owner, a couple things. One is work ethic, right? And when I have conversations, because a lot of people call me and ask me, hey, what's the secret sauce to success? And I tell them one plain sentence, work ethic. And they're like, well, I go to work every day. Well, that's good. I put in my 40 hours every week. I'm like, okay, that's good. That's a start, but that's just the basics, right? Sometimes as a business owner, you got to put in that 60 hours. You got to put the work in to be successful. And you know this as well, Kev, especially with students, there's 100 reasons why not to do something. You just need one reason to do something, right, to be successful. And so as a business owner, if you can get those two obstacles out of the way, you'll be successful as a business owner. You just got to find the one reason why, that you can get something done.
Yeah, and then obviously getting those roadblocks and the things that you're facing out of your way.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest thing, because you're going to encounter roadblocks as a business owner. You're going to make sacrifices. I mean, we made sacrifices for over 3 years. We didn't take an income. We reinvested it back into our community because it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So it's not one of those things that it just happens overnight. I mentioned this before. We created a blueprint, so we had a path on exactly how we wanted to structure our business, and we still follow that business plan to this day.
Yeah.
So you mentioned, your business, and you're growing your business and stuff like that for teachers and stuff like that. I represent kind of a unique perspective. Mr. Schell is more on the business side of things. He's teaching our students the business side of things and stuff like that. But I have the unique lens of looking out for our students. So if there was one thing that you could tell students at Estero High School, or students at Lee County schools in general, but at Estero, what's one thing that you could tell them about money and how it affects them?
Yeah, pay themselves first.
Yes.
Teach their parents or themselves. They got to teach themselves to pay themselves first. And we did this with our kids. When my son started to work for us in the business when he was 16, I forced him to put away 30%. So he put away 30% before he got to 70, and then he lived off the 70. So it's just a simple concept of paying yourself first before you live off of the rest of the funds.
And do it when you get that first paycheck. And I mentioned that yesterday in the workshop is as soon as you get that paycheck, even though you're surprised that you've got some missing money because of taxes, take a little bit and pay yourself first.
Yeah, well, that's always a shock when you're young and they take it away. But the good thing about being young and they take it all away is they get it all back.
Yeah.
And that's also, like, even if they've missed out on that opportunity to start out on the right foot, with starting out on saving the 30% and, living off the 70% for a young kid who, is working and does get that refund check at the end of the year, that could now be their boost, their start for that.
That's right.
And then now building habits off of that as well. I think I don't know. I'm not a business person. I'm not.
Wow.
It sounds like you guys are talking about a 70-30 rule that I've never heard of before. But something that just instinctively I've learned is, when you invest, you invest some and you learn to live off of what's left.
That's right.
So what's really hot right now is, Ron, with kids, probably maybe your daughter will subscribe to this, maybe they won't, but that all the kids are really into the market and the get rich fast, quick scheme sort of. Like, and they always want to know what the hot stock is, especially when I teach a stock market game. And what I love about you through the years, Ron has always been holding me back, keeping patience and putting your money in mutual funds or sort of like safer things, but don't get on that bandwagon of whatever the hot stock is. It's okay to take a little money, and you have such tremendous integrity about that. That's why my wife and I have really enjoyed keeping our money with you guys over the years. But, if you were a parent and your kid is coming to you wanting to invest in different stocks, like the Robinhood app, and you've heard of that and stuff, like, what do you think of that? What advice would you give that kid out there who wants to buy the stock of the day or stock of the month?
Yeah, be careful, really, at the end of the day, because, a lot of the stocks that I would say that are mainstream, like the NVIDIAs and your Palantirs and those stocks, I mean, by the time that a lot of people have heard about these, they've already have hit some of the values that they're going to hit as far as a ceiling. So what I would say is stick true to what the basic rules are. Diversify your portfolios. Invest. These kids should be investing.
So I'd rather them start something than nothing at all.
100%.
But at the end of the day, know your boundaries.
Yeah.
Your risk tolerance.
Tech-
What you want to do with it, what your goals are.
Tech has been driving the market the last few years.
Right.
But is that going to stay true, right? I mean, it could. Not saying you should get out of tech because that's going to be a big significant piece of the portfolio. Diversify because there's other sectors that are doing well right now as well.
If you talk to people, if we took and got in a time machine and went back 20 years, and people were telling you to invest in, say, like an AT&T, because it's so stable and it's got such stable growth and it's going to be your stable growth thing. And now if you look at or Delta
Or Blockbuster.
or Blockbuster,
I want to bring that back. So.
there's all kinds
going
of
to the store?
Yes.
No,
I
not
think that
me.
has such nostalgia.
You do?
And
You
my
like
daughter-
that?
My
Yeah.
daughter actually
Well,
talks about
I
it
can't
now.
get over. Do you know, you guys,
I worked at
the
a store.
records, I had thousands of records being, a DJ on the side. And I walked down Cape Coral and there's a whole store of retro records that I could have started a whole store and all that. And they're selling them for $20, $30. I'm going, why did I pitch all those?
I'm telling you, I feel like we had a generation that was amazing because you were able to go into the store. They always had
Yeah.
that
It was
Subway next
family
door,
time.
Well,
I didn't have.
Family
I didn't work at a Blockbuster. I worked at a place called West Coast Video.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
So it was a smaller company, but I worked there, and there is something to be said about going in and browsing. It's so I think if you look at the modern day equivalent of it, a lot of our kids spend hours browsing TikTok and stuff like that. That was our day
Yeah.
of going into Blockbuster, and the one thing that we went in there to get one thing, and inevitably
But you know what
it
I
was out.
hated? That hot movie, you would get there a little bit too late, and they're all rented.
It was all rented, and that's why you had to browse.
Yeah.
But that was so great about Netflix, though. Waiting for that DVD to come into the mail 2 days later. And you didn't have to.
Do you
go
guys
to the-
remember?
you didn't have to go to
You're
the
probably not
Blockbuster.
old enough. I'm a way older of all you guys. Remember that record where you could get like 15 cassette tapes for 10 cents with Columbia? Or, you probably don't remember that.
That's
but-
called that was like
But-
Publishers Clearinghouse.
Yeah, I
wasn't it?
love that too.
That was like the spam
But-
mail that you get in the mail.
All right, so when you guys reflect too upon your when you reflect on your secret sauce or your antidotes for success that you think that kids follow this because you guys have now made it, and I know what I think that I feel like you guys do really well, but what would you tell our kids generation? What's one or two things they need to really work on for the future if they really want to be successful? Stay away from the money side. Let's just talk about these skill sets. Like I feel like for me, I feel kids really need to learn how to sell. They need to be good salespeople. But what would be your secret sauce? What do you think God gifted you with that kind of brought you to your success?
So I think the big thing, the concern everyone has now is AI, right? And where does AI come in and what does it replace at some point? And so we put a lot of thought into this as well for our firm. And the one thing it can't replace is that one-on-one relationship, right? AI cannot build relationships, right? It can do programming and all that. So what I would tell a lot of the young kids is learn how to be social, build relationships, learn how
Wow, that's so huge.
learn how to speak to people.
Great
Learn how
advice.
to develop those relationships because people still want to deal with people. AI cannot replace that, never will be able to replace that.
And I would say if you're unsure what path to take, do something that's going to benefit you for the long haul. For example, take a business class, take a marketing
That's
class,
right.
because those type of courses will set a foundation if you ever do want to do something different, no matter what that career path is, that it would help you.
Well, that's awesome. Awesome advice. And you guys, so at the end of the broadcast, we always do what is called rapid fire. So we're going to give you a couple words, and then you just tell us what comes first to mind. But before we do that, is there any shout outs you want to give? Do you want to send a shout out to the kids or anything, or anything you want to say? Here's your open mic forum.
Yeah, go
I
Wildcats.
would say shout out to all of our educators, police officers, firefighters, all of those individuals that sacrifice, everything that they do each and every day for us. We're very grateful for them. I know that, things have not been the easiest the last couple of years, especially after COVID and all of those industries. And we're just, grateful to be a part of their lives.
Mr. Cobb, are you ready to fire away? He's going to get the first three questions.
All right.
You got your own. You got your own. Don't copy each other. All right, go ahead.
Cash or credit card?
Credit card.
I would say the same.
Why?
Good question. I think because of all the fraud that goes on, it's easier to dispute something that's fraudulent on a credit card than it is to try to get cash back. But you have to be disciplined enough to pay the credit card off
That's
every
right.
month.
And points. and
Amen.
extra
Do you
perks.
know,
Discipline.
I'll tell you this, Mr. Cobb. This is a true story. Thank goodness that I've never, ever had a balance on my credit card in my whole life. My dad and mom taught me that you pay off that credit card every month. And I've never, the only reason why that maybe have happened is because something happened with the payment and then they kicked me back the interest, whatever. But I've never had a balance on a credit card. I just feel that's money wasted.
Key is to be disciplined.
Absolutely.
And the credit card companies give you points. You can
Use
have
for
free
rewards and stuff like that.
rewards, as long as you don't float the balance and have to pay all the interest.
Yeah, I actually was teaching. I was a math teacher. I was teaching that in a class, and we were talking about like the opposite of compounding interest, which was the APR and how it stacks up and paying minimal payments, how long it was going to take to pay off. I was sitting there teaching into a class of seniors, and one of them raised their hand and goes, "You do realize that it tells you this on the bill, right?" Yeah. And I go, "What?" Because I didn't know. I hadn't looked at that. And he brings this bill up that he's an 18-year-old. He's a senior in my class. He'd already racked up a $3,000 credit card bill he'd already started himself in the hole. I took some time and talked to him and stuff like that. Like, it's just amazing that.
And I tell them that steak or that shirt that they bought that they're going to pay off 6 months later. Now, instead of costing you $29, it costs you $39 or $49. And is that really worth that?
Sorry,
all right,
I
good.
didn't
But
go-
come on now,
Yeah, that's a
Mr.
good
Rapid
one.
Fire.
That's a good
Come
one,
on.
though. That was a good
Okay.
one.
Favorite restaurant?
Oh, I would say Burns in Tampa.
Yeah, I'm a
I don't go often.
Well, you
but-
better take her. It's
Yeah.
Valentine's
Day is tomorrow.
All right, okay.
That's
All
a
right, go ahead.
2-hour trip. Favorite music genre?
Country.
I'm a classic rock guy.
Me too.
Yeah.
70s rock,
Oh,
man.
yeah. I'm a classic
70s rock,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite book? That's always the ones that stumps people. How about favorite movie?
Rocky.
We've heard that's the first one
Yeah.
of the day that we've heard of Rocky.
Yes.
Oh,
And-
I watched her dancing almost every other week, so I
all right.
gotta go back.
Your favorite song, if you have one, or one of them.
Theme song. What's your theme song?
If you were walking up and you were the baseball player, what music would they play?
Walk
for?
up music.
Oh, walk-up music. Oh man, that's a tough one. I got so many good ones, but yeah, Leonard Skinner maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would have one, to be honest. Walking up on a baseball field.
No, it
like-
doesn't register to you. How about like if I was going to introduce you at a conference to speak, what song would you want to come out to?
There's going to be smoke coming and lights flashing, and you're
Yeah.
going to walk out. What's that song?
We
gonna
got to
be?
get Lucinda a walk-up song. I'm going to send you 3 or 4. You're big. Oh my goodness, this rapid fire is rapid. Rapid. I don't know.
Downhill. It's rapidly going
This is the
downhill,
last
sir.
one. We got to get out of here. The biggest influence of your life, or like a mentor, like who really helped shape who you are?
My dad.
I would say my teacher when I came here from Puerto Rico and I was 8 years old. Yep.
There you go. Well, guys, thank you for being on the Wildcast. We hope you had fun. Thank you for sponsoring the show. If anybody out there needs to have investment,
Hey, hold on. Before we do that, can we give them an opportunity to shout out their business?
yeah. Well, I was going to do that. Go ahead. Shout out that business.
How to get a hold of you? Do you have a
How do they get
website?
a hold
All
of you?
that?
Go ahead.
Absolutely. We're on 6 Mile, GC Insurance and Wealth Management. You can reach us at 239-591-2724. We can help you.
Say that again one more time.
Yeah, 239-591-2724.
Absolutely.
And any other last words of wisdom that you have to impart, or you good?
I would say just know that the person that you're working with is going to be a lifelong partner. So just ensure that there's that level of trust and they're going to be able to get you to and through retirement. So being able to have someone that can not just do your financial planning, but also be able to look at your gaps, whether that's insurance, medical, any of that. I would say that's one of the key differences, because if you don't have someone that can do all of it, you might leave a missing part there, and it could affect
And
your
you
whole
said
plan.
listen to this, Mr. Cobb. She said a very interesting piece. Do you know when we chose you guys to be our investor, I said to Beth, I'm probably going to be dead before you are. Who do you like? And she said that she loved them because the bond that Lucinda had with Beth, that she trusts them in case, and you brought that up last night, that women control the wealth. And they're probably going to live past the men. And so you encourage the girls to understand money. And that was, look at your wife. Like, she really was, she was amazing yesterday in that speech, but that really registered with me. And that is so true.
It is.
That all you girls out there listening to the podcast, make sure that you understand your money,
Absolutely.
right?
I mean,
so
it's a social, like a social media meme and stuff like that of all of us guys that are on 3 different ladders, hanging sideways, trying to paint up in an upper corner. There's a reason that women live beyond us men.
well, yeah, there's probably other ones.
What are you trying to say? We
They're
stress you out?
they're busy shopping while we're doing something else. No, I'm just kidding.
My wife kills
What is
me
that
on
retail?
that stuff.
What is that
retail
called?
therapy?
There it is. Well, guys, thanks for being on Wildcast. Hope you had fun. Stay tuned. We'll close the show here in a couple minutes. But again, thank you, GCE. Say it all. Insurance and wealth management. There it is. Wealth management. Thank you,
And
guys.
if you like the content from this show and you want to see more, like and subscribe.
like
hit the bell.
there you go.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
At GC Insurance and Wealth Management, your future doesn't start with a product. It starts with the right advice. Too often, financial advice turns into a pitch, but the right partner provides clarity, not pressure. We focus on guidance you can trust by taking an educational approach to insurance, retirement, and business planning. As independent advisors and fiduciaries, we don't just sell policies, we build blueprints. Since 2009, we've proudly served educators, families, and business owners. We see the hard work that makes this town thrive. By combining tailored insurance with strategic financial services, we ensure your wealth, business, and family are ready for whatever life brings. Let's talk about your goals and create your blueprint today. Schedule your complimentary consultation at gceiwm.com or call 239-591-2724. GCE, independent advice for life's financial decisions.
Welcome back to the Wildcast, and another one is in the can there, Mr. Cobb.
Wow. I mean, what else can you say about that show other than wow? I mean, I can't leave that episode without just really wanting to go outside and scream to the tops about the great things that were shared about how we're moving forward in Lee County schools and the great opportunities for all of our students all across Lee County, including our students at Estero. But man, what a great opportunity to talk to all those people.
The vision that they have, I think our district for sure is in great hands.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited to be part of it and excited to, I went to high school in Lee County.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I graduated from Cypress Lake, and I've been teaching, Mr. Cobb, for 37 years. I think I got one more year to go, and then I might be going off into the sunlight. But you never know; I might hang out for 2. But really was so impressed on the direction that we're taking, and they really are incredible leaders, and we're really looking forward to the future in Lee County Public Schools, and especially at Estero High School. We tell the crowd also what some things that Ms. Seelig has brought to Estero as far as CTE education.
So, obviously Miss Seelig came from a different school. She came to us as an AP for 1 year, back to Estero. Estero is her home. She started out at Estero, went away to grow as a leader, and she came back and worked as a colleague with me up in student services. And then she got the opportunity to be the principal of the school. And when she got that opportunity, we met over the summer. And one of the things that she talked about that she was really passionate about, it's almost like she was ahead of the game, because now we're starting to see from Dr. Carlin and Mr. Mathews, kind of the vision of Lee County School District is incorporating this. And we at Estero, our CTE program, we had some CTE programs, but we didn't have near the mass that some of the other schools have had. And the reason for that over all the years was our clientele. Our clientele is always going to college. That's not the case. Our clientele, 100%, is now that we've brought in some of our new programs. We brought in entrepreneurship. We brought in.
Then we brought in solar
tech. We brought in digital media marketing. We brought in just a lot of other programs. Phlebotomy is growing. CNA is growing.
So what I love about it is that no matter if you're a kid and you see yourself possibly not going to school, there are other pathways.
There are 100% other pathways.
And we will open some doors for these kids, and we will. And that exploratory aspect about high school is what I love about it, is that they can test the waters, see if a certain program is for them, and then they can either go to one of our like FMTC, Cape Coral Tech, and they can get the needed certifications or needed things to explore a career in the trades or whatever they might choose. They have it available for them in Lee County School District, and that's what's so awesome.
Now, you touched on something there that you said we at Estero do a great job of helping kids out and doing that, and we have done that for a long, long time. But something that you touched on, that now with CTE, we've never had this graduating class that's graduating right now. We have 57 out of 377 graduates that their plan is to attend Cape Coral Tech or FMTC. That's 15% of our graduating class. It's never been that high. On top of that, you said that at Estero, we do some great things to hook people up or look out for our students. We have some students that are going to FMTC and doing amazing things in programs that we don't even offer at Estero High School. We have a student who's in the Fire Academy and is a top candidate of the Fire Academy. This student, she came up to us, and her name's Arlene, and she was passionate about wanting to be in the Fire Academy. We do have Fire Academy in Lee County Schools in a different school, just not ours. So we did what we could to hook her up and fix her up with people locally.
Yep.
We've got, a business partnership with Seagate. It's a construction company, and we've got 2 students that were going into college to be construction management at FGCU. We've got them fixed up with Seagate to do an internship while they're in school doing their construction management degree. They're now going to be working hand in hand with Seagate, getting real life experience while they're in school, and that is going to just continue to grow.
And that means so much right there. Just getting that added instruction, that added training for the kids before they venture out. Well, we've come to the end of this episode.
Why does it have to end?
I don't know, because I don't think that they would want to listen to us for hours. So I think we've kind of spent the time we needed to do. We got across our message. We hope everybody has enjoyed this edition. The district, I guess we can call it the district version of the Wildcast. And hopefully you guys had a great time. Please subscribe to our
subscribe. Let's go.
You're teaching me that. And
Hit the
then
bell.
And Mr. Cobb, thanks for coming along on the journey and the ride. And we'll see you next time for our 9th show, which will be airing in the next couple weeks. But we thank you for tuning in for this one, and we bid you a great day out there. And thanks everybody for supporting Estero High School and the Lee County School District.